Hi guys, today I'm going to show you a quick little removal video. Here we are going to remove Apres Gel-X Nails. So as you can see here, my daughter has already filed colour off one hand. So the first step is to cut down the length. Obviously on this hand, we can already see where her natural nail begins, so that makes it easy. So just clipping off that length. And I'll speed up every second hand so we're not sitting through endless minutes of repeated footage. It's just repeating that on this hand. Now I am taking a coarse e-file bit to debulk the product on the nails. I use this on a high speed and I use a very, very gentle touch. You don't really need to use hardly any pressure at all when using a coarse bit, and in fact you shouldn't, because you don't want to risk damaging your client's nail. So as you can see here, very light touch, and that product's just flying off really, really easily. So this whips through the debulking process. Obviously, the more product you can debulk prior to soaking, the faster your soaking will go. And we all want to shave time off our services if we can. She had a bit of a pocket of lift on the corner of this nail here, so I was just being very careful that the e-file bit didn't pull that, because sometimes that can be a bit painful if that happens. You can see how quickly that bit takes the colour off the nails as well as debulks. It's very, very fast and efficient. Definitely never use a bit like that on natural nails though. You can see that this nail here had quite a significant pocket of lift. So I just had to be quite careful on this one not to file into it too hard, because I didn't want it to catch and then rip the remaining part of the gel off the nail. Okay, once all the product has been debulked off the nails, then I remove the dust. And then I use pre-made soaking wraps. I just do this because these are convenient for me, but you can totally use just regular cotton balls soaked in acetone and then wrapped in foil that you cut yourself. Both works the same way. So I just soak that pad with acetone and then make sure that it's wrapped really snugly on the nail. So as you can see, I wrap it quite firmly and then I give it a bit of a pinch at the end just to make sure that it stays on. You don't want to skimp on the acetone for this. That pad really wants to be soaked well, because otherwise it's not going to remove the product efficiently. I like this method better than soaking fingers in a bowl, just because it's less mess in my opinion. And also, I have an Amendi nail desk, so I don't really want to risk any liquids accidentally getting spilt and tipping down into my dust extractor fan in my table. So again, wrapping tightly, giving it a little pinch at the end. There is an extra step that you can take at this point if you like, and you can get some kind of heat pack and place that, put a towel over your client's hands and then place a heat pack over it. That will help to speed up the soaking process, helps the acetone penetrate faster. Obviously, if it's summertime or if your client's hands are very warm, you can skip that step. But if it's cold where you are, or your client's hands tend to be very, very cold, you can totally do that, and that will help to speed it up a little bit as well. I had the heater on in my room, so it was already fairly toasty in there, so I didn't really feel the need to use that step. And again, just repeating that step on her other hand. Then after we've applied this last wrap, I set my timer for 15 minutes and let that soak. So we'll come back in 15 minutes to remove. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. So now I give the wraps a little bit of a twist as I pull them off. And I just use a Cuticle Pusher. There are proper scrapers that you can get for this step. Cuticle Pusher that I use has always worked perfectly fine in my opinion, but you can totally get one if you like. Now, I'm not pushing very hard here either. It might look like that, but I wasn't resting my elbow on the table at the time because I was trying not to make my camera shake. So again, just give it a little twist and then just scrape that product off. It comes away super easy, very quick. It's totally fine to leave a little bit of the product on the nail as well, a thin layer, especially if you're going to be reapplying a fresh set of Gel-X, because you're already going to be reapplying some gel anyway. So there's no need to completely remove it. The main focus is to get rid of any sort of loose gel, anything that's lifted, especially if there was pockets of lift under the original nail. Like in the case of this nail, we wanted to make sure that that was all removed before we reapply any fresh gel. It's also very important at this step that you do one nail at a time. Please don't remove all 10 wraps at once, because what will happen is that acetone will then harden again and you won't be able to scrape the product off the nail. So please remember, only do it one nail at a time. Speeding up this step. As you can see, it doesn't matter too much if you didn't get all of the colour off when you were debulking, because that acetone will take it off anyway. Now that nail there had quite a significant pocket of lift. As you can see, that's pretty much just all come away. Definitely needed to get rid of that before we reapply any new product. I find doing a little twist as you are pulling the wrap off the nail helps to dislodge a bit of the product too. It lessens the amount of scraping that you have to do. Okay, once I'm done scraping off the excess product, I am just going to go in with a hand file, and I use the 180 grit side of my file, and I use a really light touch. It's getting impatient. My daughter wasn't giving me her hand quick enough. So she wanted her nails short, so I'm just shortening the length and then just giving it a quick once over quite lightly with the 180 grit side of the file, just to try and catch any remaining little bits of gel that might be there. I wasn't being too particular about definitely trying to get all of it off. She didn't mind having a little bit left over. To be fair, most of it is gone anyway though. I find myself having to readjust that thumb several times. She always stiffens up. I don't know if you have clients like that too. Especially, I think there's always like one thumb and you feel like you're wrestling with them. Okay, just speeding up the second hand here, but as you can see, just repeating exactly what I did on the first hand, getting rid of that pocket of lift there. I'm spending a little bit of extra time on this nail here just to make sure that there's no gel left that could catch on anything, because there was quite a big pocket. Just shortening the length, going lightly over, just smoothing everything out. If there was any tiny bits of colour left in the corners of the nails, just whip over that with the file just to get it off as well. I think in the corner of this nail there was a tiny bit of black left, just had to catch that with the file. And now I'm just going over it with a smooth buffer. She didn't want a new set of Apres applied just now. She just wanted her nails to be bare. So just smoothing everything out with a really soft buffer. You can see I rub over the nails with my thumb too. It's an almost subconscious thing I do now. I don't even realise that I do it, but that's to check, just to make sure that the nail's smooth, there's no little rough bits that are going to catch. If you rub your thumb over it, it will pick it up. So after I finished this step, I did apply cuticle oil all over. I did that off camera. But as you can see, removing Apres, it's pretty fast. I think it took me maybe 25 minutes all up. I definitely prefer removing and reapplying each time. Even though soaking off can be a bit of a pain, it's better in my opinion than trying to infill. I have tried to infill before and it just didn't give the same seamless look. So there you go, guys. That is the finished product. Hope that helped some of you. If you liked this, please press like and subscribe. See you in the next video.